What's going on, y'all? Welcome to EP3, Gems with Josh. I'm your host, Josh, and yes, we have made it to the day that we all been waiting for. Today is draft day. I'm super excited, man. I'm in a 12-man league. It's one of my bigger money leagues that I'm actually in, and I'm going to break down to you guys how I pretty much went through round by round in this draft to draft the team that I feel can be a league winner. Again, this is a 12-man league, so there's a lot of people, so you got to strategize a little bit differently when you're in a 12-man league. All right, to help you guys out, I'm going to break it down round by round, my thoughts on which I went to go with. And the most important thing to let you guys know is I started the draft with pick number 4. All right, so it's not a bad position at all. So really starting with pick number 4, I was really, looking to see what everybody was going to do in front of me as well as behind because we're in a snake draft. All right, so let's go ahead and start breaking down what I did to get what I think is a pretty darn good team, and I think I might be in contention for a league winner this year. All right, so let's go ahead and start with round 1. All right, so round 1 in my draft of the 12-man league that I'm in, of course, the first number 1 pick went off to Jamar Chase. I mean, I think pretty much everybody pretty much thought that. Triple Crown winner last year, so not mad at that. At number 2 is when it gets interesting. The number 2 pick in my draft, somebody went with Saquon Barkley, right? Not super mad at it, but I think it was one of those things that kind of more so looking towards last year, more so towards this year. So I was kind of surprised that they went with Saquon at number 2. And this was the biggest surprise. Somebody went CD Lamb at number 3. So when I saw that CD Lamb went at number 3, I was already like, whoa, because I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go in. So at pick number 4, come on, guys, I went Bijan Robinson. I think he's an absolute dog. I think he's going to have an amazing year. And I'm super, super excited that I got to get Bijan in the first round, especially at number 4. And a lot of mock drafts that I've been seeing, Bijan Robinson has been going either number 1 or number 2. So for me to get him at number 4, I feel like it's a crazy steal. So I am super, super geeked up. I'm super happy about it. And I think that's really, really going to go a long way for me, helping me win, my league. I think you always want to have a running back that you could just roll out there week to week. And Bijan Robinson is definitely one of those guys. Let's go ahead and go on to round 2. So again, the rounds that, it's a 12-man league and it's a snake draft. So that means in the first round, I started at 4. And the next round, I had the 21st pick. So I was at the back end of it, but it's all good. So I wanted to go RB2 in the second round, but at pick 13, Chase Brown went early. Pick 14, Jonathan Taylor. 15 was Devon Achane. 16 was Drake London. 17 was Lamar Jackson. 18 was Puka. 19 was Josh Jacobs. And 20 was Brock Bowers. I was sitting at pick 21. Right here, I really, really thought about going Bucky Irving right here, but there wasn't a lot of receivers left on the board that I thought that were like true number 1s. So I decided to go with Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought he had an amazing season as a rookie, and I think it's only going to get better. So out of the first 2 rounds, I got my RB1 and I got my wide receiver 1. I feel very comfortable. I got 2 guys that I know each week I could just roll them out, and I know we're good to go. All right. So again, I thought about going RB2 this round. That's what I really wanted to go with. But when I was looking at how many receivers were left in the draft, I couldn't pass up Brian Thomas Jr. right there. So we go off into the third round where I get to move back up at pick 4 again. 25 was Jalen Hurts. 26 was Jaden Daniels. Pick 27, kind of a surprise, Tony Pollard. But like I said, wasn't a lot of running backs out there left or receivers. So in the third round, man, I went with the best tight end that was left on the board for me, and that's Trey McBride. Trey McBride is an absolute animal. He's going to be tight end 1, tight end 2, probably by the end of the season, and he's just going to get better and better and better, right? I figured, hey, tight end is a position that, is limited. You don't have a lot of them. So I figured, hey, let me go ahead and go in round 3 and go Trey McBride. Now, every week, I know tight end 1 for me is completely secure. I don't really have to worry about, who I'm going to be putting in week to week to week. So I went with Trey McBride, and I'm super happy with that. A couple picks after me went Joe Burrow, George Kittle, T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, Kyron Williams, A.J. Brown, James Cook, and Amari Hampton. All right, so not bad picks at all, but I just felt like I wanted to, go ahead and go tight end right there. Round 4, it went Marvin Harrison Jr., DK, Chuba Hubbard, Alvin Kamara, Travion Henderson, which I was kind of upset about. I wanted to get him, but it is what it is. Little mistake by somebody here. Jordan Addison, James Conner, Terry McLaurin, and me sitting at 45, right? I got my RB1, I got my wide receiver 1, and I got my tight end 1. So I definitely wanted to go RB2 here. Kenneth Walker III is where I went. He's an absolute starter week to week. We know he's going to start, and we know when he's healthy, he's going to do his thing. So I really felt like I was blessed getting Kenneth Walker in the 4th round. So I got my RB1 and my RB2. I feel like my lineup is shaping up to be one of those league winners already. To end that round out, Tyreek Hill went, Sam Laporta, and then Devontae Adams. So then we get into the 5th round, right? It's kind of blowed in the 5th round. At the top of it, Breece Hall went, and Breece Hall was one of my guys that I really wanted to target this year, but it's all good. Mike Evans went next, and then Isaiah Pacheco. Again, I looked at my draft board, didn't see a lot of wide receivers left, also not a lot of running backs. So I kind of went best position there. So I went JSN with the Seattle Seahawks. I know for a fact he's going to get a ton of targets. And again, this is really going to be his first full year as the number 1 guy. I think he's really, really going to do his thing. So round 5, getting my wide receiver 2, JSN. I'm super excited. The rest of that round went Worthy, Garrett Wilson, Brian Robinson Jr., surprise, Zay Flowers, Patty Mahomes, DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, and Cortland Sutton. So then we go over into the 6th round, and a couple more surprises went early on. We went Kyler Murray, TJ Hockenson, Ted McMillan, Calvin Ridley. I was kind of upset with that one. That was one of my guys I said earlier that I was looking to get, but it's all good. Travis Kelce, Jerry Jeudy, Baker Mayfield, and then DeAndre Swift went there at 68. I really wanted Swift to kind of have a little bit more insurance at running back. So when I looked at my draft board again, not a lot of running backs left, and not a ton of receivers left. So I kind of went with a little bit of a risk here, but I think this risk is going to pay off. At pick 69, I went Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is an absolute animal. I think the Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to be way better. And when he's in the lineup with the Chiefs, he is, no question, wide receiver 1. Pat definitely looks for him on the drop-offs, and he also looks for him in the red zone. Yes, he's going to be suspended for a few games this year, but I believe the first 4 games of the season he will be playing. All right, so he might get suspended a little in the middle of the season, but we'll get him back when we really need him during the playoff push. So took a little bit of risk with Rashee Rice at 69, but like I said, he's a wide receiver 1. I know he's going to get targets, and I know he's going to get in that end zone. So I was super excited getting him in the 6th round. That round ended with David Njoku, David Montgomery, and J-Mo over there in Detroit. So then we get to the 7th round. I'm back at the top of the draft in this round. First pick was Mark Andrews. Next one, C.J. Stroud, Jacoby Myers. And at 76, man, I got Jalen Waddle. I know you guys probably seen in EP2 me talking about Jalen Waddle. I think he's going to have a great season. And again, I think he's going to be another guy who's going to be a wide receiver 1 when it's all said and done. I think he's going to have a great season. Again, not a lot of running backs left on the board that I felt like I could take that in that position right there. So what I ended up doing was stacking up my receivers, right? 1, because I really like those receivers, but also 2, I might be able to take some of my receivers, package them, and maybe get a running back later on during the season if things don't work out the way that I want them to work out. But I'm not mad at getting Jalen Waddle in the 7th round at 76 at all. Next couple picks were Bo Nix, Roma Dunze, Tyler Warren, Emeka Abuka, Evan Ingram, Dak, Jared Goff, and Aaron Jones Sr. So then we go into the 8th round. I'm at the bottom half of that. Top of it went Ricky Pearsall from the Niners, Debo, Tyrone Tracy Jr., RJ Harvey, Austin Eckler, Tucker Kraft, Jalen Warren, Matthew Golden. And at pick 93 in the 8th round, I got my guy, Bill Krosky Merritt. All right, I know you guys probably seen the news this week. Brian Robinson Jr. got traded to the San Francisco 49ers. So that's doing nothing but leading the way for Bill to end up being RB1 by the time the season's over. So in round 8, I'm almost getting me a RB1, RB2. I'm not too mad at it at all. I think when I look back at this draft at the middle of the season, this is definitely going to be one of those steals that I'm super, super happy about. And he might, even sneak into, my starting lineup depending on what Kenneth Walker's health looks like. So I'm super, super excited about getting him in the 8th round. Thought it was a great value pick. That round ended with Michael Pittman Jr., Cooper Kupp, and Chris Olave. So then we get into the later rounds. We're in round 9 here. Caleb Johnson went at the top of that round. I definitely was looking at him in round 9 as well, but I wasn't able to get him. Cam Little, somebody went with a defense. And then at pick 100, right? I could take a little bit of a risk looking at the team that I've drafted so far. So at pick 100, guys, I went Stephon Diggs. Yeah, he's coming off of an ACL, but again, Stephon Diggs is going to be wide receiver 1 in the New England Patriots offense, right? He's going to be Drake May's best friend. He's going to get a lot of drop downs. He's going to get targets in the red zone. Again, I got another guy that if he has a great season, I could package him and go get whatever it is that I need to kind of fill out my team throughout the season. So me getting Stephon Diggs at pick 100 in the 9th round, I'm super excited. Rest of those picks for that round with J.K. Dobbins, Colston Loveland, Caleb Williams, Travis Hunter, Khalil Shakir, Joe Mixon, Keon Coleman, and Kyle Pitts. All right. And then this is the last round I'm really going to talk about with you guys. So round 10, I just went with Brock Purdy with pick 117. I usually always go late rounds with quarterbacks just because I like to fill out my teams with running backs and wide receivers first, as well as a really, really good tight end. I feel like you could get a good value pick with Brock Purdy late, and, your team's going to be rolling regardless. If Brock doesn't really work out for me, I'll definitely, be scanning the waiver wire throughout the season. But then also, too, I got so many receivers that I know that, possibly going to end up as wide receiver 1s that I could package some things together and go get me a quarterback if all fails. So to be honest with you guys, man, I'm super, super excited when my team came out. My starting week 1 lineup is going to be Brock Purdy at quarterback. Can't go wrong. I got Bijan Robinson at RB1, Kenneth Walker III at RB2. I have JSN and Brian Thomas Jr. as my starting receivers, Trey McBride as my tight end, and I have in my flex Rashee Rice. And not surprised at all, in my league, the person who has the highest projection for week 1 is myself with 127 points. Again, I felt like I went with the best value picks that were on the board, and I filled my team out completely how I wanted to fill it out. And to me, I think I drafted me a league winner. We'll get to, December and January and see if that becomes true or not. But I think on my bench, I got a lot of value, and I can use a lot of those guys as trade bait later on. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and look at my bench, and let's talk about a few of those guys. I filled out the rest of my team with Braylon Allen. I think he's going to be a really good handcuff to Breece Hall if he gets injured, anything like that. I also picked up Trey Benson. I said in episode 1, I thought Trey Benson is going to have a really big season. He's going to fill in a lot for James Conner as he's getting older. And he might sneak in as RB1 by the end of the year. Just to be safe with Kenneth Walker because he's had injury concerns, I definitely went with Zach Charbonnet on my bench as well, just in case if Kenneth Walker goes down, I have his backup right there. Again, we went Bill Krosky, Merritt, so super excited there. We got Stephon Diggs, and my backup tight end, I got Jake Ferguson, who I told you guys, when Jake Ferguson is with Dak Prescott, he's going to have a major, major season. So I'm super excited about having him on my bench. I think he's another guy that I can definitely use as trade bait because a lot of people don't really have a lot of good tight ends, and he's going to have a big season. And to end off my bench, man, like I said, I got Jalen Waddle, who I think is going to have a great, great season. So at the end of the draft, guys, I'm really, really excited. I think that I'm going to have a great season. I think my running back position and my wide receiver positions are super set. And again, I think my bench is really, really good. So if I need to make any adjustments during the season, I definitely got some things that I can use as trade bait. All right. So I'm going to upload this, guys, so you guys can kind of see my picks and my draft strategy. And I want you guys to let me know how you think I did. I think I cooked. We'll see how it looks at the end of the season. But thanks for you guys tuning in. This is Gems with Josh. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of the socials. Thanks for all the support you guys have been showing on the first 2 EPs. We're going to keep rolling, and we're almost towards the season, guys. Super excited to bring you guys picks during the season, help you guys make a little extra cash, and also help you guys set your lineups correctly so you can become a league winner this year. Again, EP3, Gems with Josh. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.